Hello, hello. Alright, what's the plan today? So, I kind of feel like giving some modelling a go in Blender. So, where we got to with our Endless Runner is we've got some control over our main character, we've got a few animations going, we've got enemies running towards us, we've got obstacles that you've got to avoid, and we've got collectibles and, well, not power-ups, but consumables, let's call them. That's what I've been calling them. That you can collect as you run along. I thought now's maybe a good time to try out some modelling for the characters rather than using the default one that we have from Mixamo. So the plan is to find I have a transfer over here. So this, I can put it full screen actually, just not have the research window on. Yeah, so this tutorial from Pixo 3D looks pretty good in terms of like starting from scratch on Blender, creating up a model, wireframing it, and then you end up with a character that hopefully looks a bit like this. And that should be a good starting point. And then depending on how we get on with this, I'm trying to look for the Mixamo add-on. I think I'm going to download and install when we get to that point, which hopefully will help us rig and animate the character. And I think once we get to that, we're probably going to be happy that we can rig our own character in Blender and then look at importing that into Unity. And I think that hopefully that'll be the goal for today, is to get a character like this into our game in Unity after creating it. And then in future streams, we'll probably be doing some Blender streams based on improving this character, make it look like some of the characters we want in our Endless Runner. So that is the plan for today. So I have used a bit of Blender before. Basically used it for the standard donut tutorial that everyone does. So if we transition that there, I think this should show enough. That there. And what we'll probably do is probably dip the Spotify audio a little bit, so we can concentrate a bit more in the video. I think that should be okay.
If you've ever wanted to learn how to do things like 3D modeling,
and yeah, I'm just going to follow along with this video.
Like Blender, for example, this tutorial is aimed at absolute beginners, by which I mean I'm going to be approaching it from the perspective of somebody that's never even opened up Blender. I'm going to be showing you how to move around, how the basic navigational things work, and the goal of this tutorial is to show you how to get started with modeling your first ever object. In this case, we're going to be modeling this really basic little character here. It's not fancy or posh like some of the other tutorials I've done and modeling techniques on my channel. This one is really going to be kept absolutely basic, very low poly, by which I mean the amount of points and faces and things you're going to be selecting are going to be to an absolute minimal to make it as simple as possible. I'm also going to be showing you guys how to use modifiers in Blender, which are these things over here. So one I'm going to be showing you how to use is a mirror modifier. And this mirror modifier allows you to be modeling on one side and it mirrors over to the other side. And this is something that really saves you a lot of time and it makes for a more consistent and even topology. And then I'm going to show you how to add a subdivision surface modifier, which is this thing here, which just smooths out your model. We're pretty much going to be starting with a default primitive object. In this case, it's going to be the default cube. And once we've modeled it, we're going to end up with this here. So once again, absolute beginners. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. And this gets you a good start with Blender. So let's get started with this absolute beginners tutorial in Blender. So just in case you haven't already downloaded Blender, I'm just going to quickly touch on it. If you go to blender.org
Yeah, speed up through this bit.
you can download a version of Blender. So in this case, and you can just pin it.
So we've got Blender.
If you want to move around in Blender, one of the main ways to do that is if you have a mouse, you're just going to click and hold in the scroll button, the up and down scroll button. And if you hold it in, you can move your mouse, and you can see you're actually able to turn around in your scene. Right? So just practice that for a bit. Just press your middle mouse button, and you can turn around and rotate around an object. If you want to move side to side, you simply hold in Shift, click the middle mouse button, and you can move side to side. That's with Shift. And you can also hold in Control if you want. So just hold in Control or Command on a Mac. Your middle mouse button afterwards, and then you can zoom in or out. So super simple command.
That'd be. I'll do it on scroll instead.
N on my keyboard. You guys don't have to do this. And I've got an add-on in Blender that I'm using that just allows you guys to see what I'm pressing. So I'm going to just enable that. This is not something that you guys will see in your version of Blender because I've specifically downloaded and installed this add-on. And you can now see down here the keys I'm pressing are now visible to you guys. If I press A or S or B or
that's
whatever.
quite useful to have.
Once again, just quickly recapping. We hold.
Wait, keyboard presses Blender add-on. Let's add that because then screencast keys. Yep, something like this. I think it's in the preferences, isn't it? The add-ons, yeah. Screencast. Can I search? Or do I have to download them first? Looks like I have to download them first, right? Let's just have a quick look. Each one. Let's have a look at this one quickly.
Hi, welcome to PCT Web Tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to install screencast keys on Blender Free. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open up the web browser. I'm going to go to this page here on GitHub. I've got a link to this same page in the YouTube description. When you get to here, you need to scroll down past this section here, and you need to go to all releases and click on release page here. When you click it, you'll notice that it says version 3.6, but it says it's for Blender 2.93. But I've also tested this and actually works on Blender version 3 as well. Let's try and get it working. We'll go down here and click screencast key zip file. I'm going to click that. It's going to download the zip file. We'll drag this to the side. We'll open up this folder on my desktop. We're going to drag this into here like this, right? We'll just drag this in here, and we need to now close the web browser and we can go ahead and open up Blender. Here's Blender 3. I've just installed that recently. I'm going to click on general here and go over to edit.
Right, let's add a new folder here for our add-ons.
And then we'll go ahead and tick this option. To tick it off, and you can see that the screencast key is now enabled. Just go ahead and close this, and we'll close down Blender, and we'll open.
So it looks like we found the right one. We just want to download this. And we'll put that in our add-ons. Do we need to unzip it? Let's see what it said.
And then we'll go ahead and tick this option. You need to now close the web browser, and we can go ahead and open up Blender. So here's
Right, and then in Blender, Blender preferences.
Blender 3. I've just installed that recently. I'm going to click on general here, and go over to edit, go to preferences, and click on the add-on here, and then click install, and we'll go to my desktop.
Install. Go to desktop. Blender. Add-ons. This one. Install add-on. Did that install? This one. Now we have it here. Right, that looks good. We'll increase the font size a little bit so it's easier to see. This is just so that when I go back to review it, hopefully it'll be quite easy to see what buttons I was pressing. Let's get down here. Oh, there's a bit below it. Okay, let's push them up. That just shows you what's being held at the same time. Cool. Right, that one. Do we need anything else?
You want to
White's probably okay. It should be nice and easy to see. Just undo that. Okay. That can go.
Hold in the middle mouse button to turn around. We hold in shift and then the middle mouse button to pan side to side, and we hold in control or command and our middle mouse button to zoom in or out. So once we have that kind of out of the way, how to actually move around in the interface, I'll quickly show you what we have in a default scene. So in a default scene, if I'm moving around here with the middle mouse button, you can see we have a camera. So if you just left click, you can select the camera, or if you left click on the cube here, you can select that, or if you left click on this object here, that's your lamp or your light. And that's what's going to eventually, we're not going to be talking about that today, but that's what will light your scene if you were to do a render. So for now, the only thing we're going to be interested is this default primitive here, which is just the default cube. Now, if you, for example, wanted to start with any other kind of primitive to model it, you could just go Shift A. So if you hit Shift A in Blender, that's what brings up the add menu. So usually when you're going to do modeling, the thing we're always going to be starting with are our meshes. These are the actual pieces of geometry in the 3D software that you can manipulate and extrude and move around. So in this case, you can see there's the default cube. Here's just a simple plane. Here's a circle. Here's a UV sphere. It's all just like play school level stuff, like little shapes you would have learned about in kindergarten. So let's just not worry about that because we already have the default cube. And if we want to work in Blender, we have usually a front view. So if you have a number pad on your keyboard, you can hit 1 and that'll take you into the front orthographic view. If you hit 3, that'll take you into the right orthographic view. If you hit 7, it'll take you to the top orthographic view. Now, if you have a laptop and you don't have a number pad, you can go to Edit, you can go over to Preferences, and you can go over here to Inputs,
That's
and you can
useful.
go Emulate Number Pad. So if you don't have a number pad, and you just have the basic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on at the top of your keyboard, you can press Emulate Number Pad, and then you can close this, and that'll do the same thing. If you want to do it manually, you can just go to View, and then you can go to Viewport, and you can choose top, bottom, front, and left. So up here in View, that's how you do that. But I would definitely recommend getting accustomed to the viewport shortcut. So for example, 1 is front orthographic view, 3 is the right orthographic view. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to hit 1 on a number pad, and you're going to see up here, it says front orthographic. You can see right up here, it says front orthographic. And once again, you can just go here to viewport and go into the front if number pad didn't work for you. And we're going to now select the default cube. And the way you know it's selected, you can see it has this orange outline. So if I quickly deselect it, you can see there's no orange outline, but if I click on it, I can see it's an orange outline, so I know it's what we call active. And I can also look up here in my scene collections, and I can see under this collection, here's my cube, and the cube is highlighted. It's got this blue bar around it, so I know it is an active element in my scene. So it's not my light, it's not my camera, but it's the cube itself that is selected. Now, we're currently in what we call object mode in Blender, so that's this mode up here, right? In object mode, we can see objects, we can also move them around and rotate them. But what we want to do today is we actually want to edit the geometry itself, the mesh. And to do that, with this cube active, we need to actually go up to object mode and go into
Yeah,
edit
might
mode.
zoom in
There are
a
other
little
things
bit
you
so
can do
it's
in
easier
object
to
mode. For example,
see.
if you hit the G key, you can move. If you hit the R key, you can rotate. If you hit the R key twice, you can rotate on all axes
Right.
if number pad didn't work for you. And we're going to now select the default cube. And the way you know it's selected, you can see it has this orange outline.
This
If I
can
quickly
go way
deselect it,
smaller
you
now.
can see there's no orange outline, but if I click on it, I can see it's an orange outline, so I know it's what we call active. And I can also look up here in my scene collections, and I can see under this collection, here's my cube, and the cube is highlighted. It's got this blue bar around it, so I know it is an active element in my scene. So it's not my light, it's not my camera, but it's the cube itself that is selected. Now, we're currently in what we call object mode in Blender, so that's this mode up here, right? In object mode, we can see objects, we can also move them around and rotate them. But what we want to do today is we actually want to edit the geometry itself, the mesh. And to do that, with this cube active, we need to actually go up to object mode and go into our edit mode. There are other things you can do in object mode. For example, if you hit the G key, you can move. If you hit the R key, you can rotate. If you hit the R key twice, you can rotate on all axes like this. But if you also hit S, you can scale. So that's super useful, but we're not going to be focusing on that today. We're going to actually be getting into the edit mode. So let's go over to our edit mode with the cube active. And what we can see here is all of these points here, which we call vertices. Right? If it's a single vertex, we call it a vertex. Okay? So what we're going to do now is you can click on any one of these verts here, and you can see they become active. You can also see up here we're currently in vertex select mode, which means if we have that enabled, we can select the vertex. If we then want to select one of these edges, we can click on the edge select mode, and then we can click on edges. So if I click on this edge or this edge, you can see we are able to select them. Then we have this thing here called face select mode, which enables us to, as the name implies, we can select individual faces. So I'm selecting this face, now I can select this face. So what we're going to be doing in this tutorial, we'll be going in between these little modes often. So let's start by just practicing some selection. So with the face select enabled, if you want to select more than one face at a time, right? So for example, I want to select both of these. What you can do is you can click on the face first, like this one for example, and if you hold in shift, you can click on the second face and then the third face. And then you can hold your middle mouse button, you can still move around, then just hold in shift again and you can keep selecting faces. And holding in shift will allow you to select multiple faces. If I let go of shift and then I click on another face, all of a sudden it just selects that face. So that's how you used to do multiple face selections. The exact same thing goes with edges. If I select one edge and then I hold in shift, I can select another one, hold in shift, I can select the third one, and so on. And the exact same thing applies to the vertices. If I want to select one vertex, I can go over to the next one by holding in shift, and so on and so forth. So you can see that's how it all works. So that's just different ways of selecting essentially the same mesh, but just in a different way. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit 1 now to go into our front orthographic view. And once again, if you go to view, you can go to viewport and do that over here by going front.
Oh, 0
And
gives you a
if
camera
want to be
view.
able to
That's cool.
model this, one thing that I'm going to teach you about are modifiers. So modifiers are these things down here. If you go and you click on the modifier properties, you can see something here called add modifier. So if we click on add modifier, you can see a whole bunch of things which we won't be focusing on today, but they essentially give our mesh or geometry certain kind of properties that apply to them that can sometimes make things easier for us. For example, if we go over down here under the generate, we can go over to what's called a mirror modifier. And a mirror modifier is essentially just going to take this geometry and take one side of it and mirror it exactly the same on the opposite side. So let's quickly go ahead and add in a mirror modifier. And now we need to select our geometry and just move it to the side. So what we're going to actually do is we can hit A to select all of the geometry. Then in our front orthographic view, we can go G, X, and move it over to the side. You can see it's actually mirrored on this side here. And over here, you can see that's our X axis. The X axis you can also see up here, this little gizmo shows us the X goes this way, right? The Z goes up and down like this, and then the Y goes like that. But that's from our right orthographic view, which we're not working in currently. So just hit 1 to go back to your front orthographic view. And over here, you can see we have the cube mirrored on the X. You can also change these, by the way. So you can change them like this if you want to work on different axes, but we won't be doing that. Just focus on the X for now. But what we also want to do is we want to come over here and enable clipping. When we enable clipping and we take this cube and we go G, X, remember it's all selected because we hit A to select everything. So we're going to go G, X, I'm going to move it in, and you can see these are clipping together now down in the middle. So we're going to bring it in just about this much. You can see they're clipping together. See? There, and if we hit G and then X to move it back on the X, I hit G and X, move it this way, you can see they're kind of stuck together. That's what clipping is for. Which is all good. Now they're fused together, and whatever we do on this side, we'll copy on that side. But at the moment, if we hit Z, so if you hit Z on the keyboard, you can
Wait, what did I miss?
hit A to select all of the geometry. Then in our front orthographic view, we can go G,
Slow
X,
down a
and
little
move
bit.
it over to the side. You can see it's actually mirrored on this side here. And over here, you can see that's our X axis. The X axis you can also see up here. This little gizmo shows us the
Okay.
X goes this way, right? The Z goes up and down like this, and then the Y goes like that.
We didn't,
That's from our
we didn't
right
clip on.
orthographic view,
We didn't add on the clipping.
currently. So just hit 1 to go back to your front orthographic view. And over here,
We don't want the Y.
you have the cube mirrored on the X. You can also change these, by the way. So you can change them like this if you want to work on different axes, but we won't be doing that. Just focus on the X for now. But what we also want to do is we want to come over here and enable clipping. When we enable clipping and we take this cube and we go G, X, remember it's all selected because we hit A to select everything, so we're going to go G, X, I'm going to move it in, and you can see these are clipping together now down the middle. So we're going to bring it in just about this much. You can see they're clipping together. See? There, and if we hit G and then X to move it back on the X, I hit G and X, move it this way, you can see they're kind of stuck together. That's what clipping is for. Which is all good. Now they're fused together, and whatever we do on this side, we'll copy on that side. But at the moment, if we hit Z, so if you hit Z on the keyboard, you can go to what we call wireframes. You can actually see through this. And at the moment, there is actually a face in between these two, which we don't want. So guys, there's actually a face here. If I just come over here and hide the modifier, you can see there's a face in here. So let's just go to face select this face by clicking on it, then hit X and delete that face. Once again, select it, hit X, and just delete the face. Now we can just bring that back and make sure clipping is enabled. So now, what we can do is we can hit A again, just select all the geometry, and this time we want to flatten it, but on the Y axis, this one over here.
Right, he turned off this, didn't he? This. So he clicked on this, X. Why can I not delete? He deleted it, right?
X, remember it's all selected because we hit, but at the moment, if we hit Z, so if you hit Z on the keyboard, you can go to what we call wireframes, you can actually see through this, and at the moment there is actually a face in between these two which we don't want. So guys, there's actually a face here. If I just come over here and hide the modifier, you can see there's a face in here. So let's just go to face select this face by clicking.
Oh wait, you can hide the modifier. Like this? Yeah, okay. Oh, right. There we go. Okay. I didn't realize those were subsections of the menu. This is just delete. X is just delete everything. So, but we've still got it in there, right? Or is that not a face anymore? Why? Why can we only select this face? So Z, wireframe. How do we know if there's a face there or not? That looks like I can only select that face. Oh no, that face I can select. And that one. Oh, you got to click on the dot. Okay. So there's no. If we hide that, there's now. That'll be exactly where the origin is. What if we select all, G, X, move it, no, G, Z. Okay, we can see there's no G, Y. Let's move you back. Look, there's no dot in the middle of this face, is there? Like we've got the dots here. Okay. Right, let's move it back.
Clicking on it, then hit X and delete that face. Once again, select it, hit X, and just delete face. Now we can just bring it back and make sure clipping is enabled. So now, what we can do is we can hit A again to select all the geometry, and this time we want to flatten it but on the Y axis, this one over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit S to scale, and we're going to go Y, and we're going to scale it down on the Y to flatten it. So about this much. Okay? If you hit 1 to go back to your front of graphic view, you can hit G, X, and you can move it like this. So we want something that looks like this, and then from the side, looks like that. Doesn't have to be exact, just roughly these proportions. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go over to our edge select option, and we're going to hit A twice to deselect everything, double tap A, and then we're going to select this face here, or edge, so make sure you're on your edge select. And once you clicked on it, hold in shift, go to the other side, and then click on this edge. Now they're both active, as you can see. And then we're going to go S, and we're going to hit Y, and we're going to scale it on the Y like this, as you can see. That's really easy to do. And then we're going to hit 1 to go into our front of graphic view. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hit Z on our keyboard, and we're going to go to wireframe. Then we're going to go to our vertex select option. We're going to click here, and we're going to drag. So click and drag, and we're going to select just these bottom verts. And then we're going to go G, Z, and move them up to where that red line is here. That's our X axis. So you can see it's a floor pretty much. And then we're going to go G, X, and we're going to move these in just a little bit on the X, like that. And while we have those verts selected or active, we're going to go E to extrude, and then Z, and we're going to extrude them down. So extruding them down to about
going too quick. Let's go back to the normal view. Right.
And then
we did this.
Is we're going to hit Z on our keyboard, and we're going to go to wireframe. Then we're going to go to our vertex select option. We're going to click here, and we're going to drag. So click and drag, and we're going to select just these bottom verts.
Yep.
And then we're going to go G, Z, and move them up to where that red line is here. That's our X axis. So you can see it's our floor pretty much. And then we're going to go G, X, and we're going to move these in just a little bit on the X, like that.
So I imagine we're making
While
a torso here.
Those verts selected or active, we're going to go E to extrude, and then Z, and we're going to extrude them down. So extruding them down to about here, like that. So you can see we have almost like an hourglass here. And if you want to go back into solid view, you can go Z, and then just click on solid. So now we're back in solid view, and now we kind of have the
basically
torso of the body. As you can see, the upper chest and the bottom of our model here, the bottom of the torso. But what we want to do now, where there's faces here, we want to extrude the leg. So we went into our front view, and with those faces or verts still active in our front view, we're just going to go R to rotate, and we're going to rotate it a little bit like this. But one of the issues we're going to run into now, if we hit E to extrude and we try to extrude that face in, they're kind of clipping together here, which is not what we want. So we're going to just hit Control Z to undo that, or Command Z. And we have to temporarily just come here under our modifiers to our mirror modifier and just untick clipping. So now if we hit E to extrude and we extrude it out, so I just hit E to extrude, so we're extruding it out, and then just click somewhere here to stop that action. You can see we've now extruded the legs. We can now enable clipping again, as we do still need the clipping. With these verts still selected or active, we can now go S to scale them.
Oh wait.
And if you actually
I just had the front selected here. Whereas I think what I needed to do was, if we did the wireframe, which we're on. And then we select all of these. Ah, we rotated just the front as well. Let's do that. You rotate. And then we did no clipping. We did extrude. And we went down, so like here.
When you did deselect them, all you have to do is just click somewhere here, just drag over them and select them. You can also just go to your face select and just select the face. So for now, let's just actually go to face select and select the face. Go into our front view again, with that face active. We're just going to go down to about here, which would be where our knees are. Bring them in a little bit closer. Then we're going to just rotate, so hit R to rotate in your front view.
Right, how did what?
Flatten them out just a bit.
A second, what?
We're just going to go down to about here. which would be
Oh, we
where
just
our
clicked
knees
and
are.
dragged it. No?
In a little bit closer. Then we're going to just rotate, so hit R to rotate in your front view.
Wait. They pulled it down.
Active. You can now go S to scale them. And if you accidentally did deselect them,
S.
all you have to do is just click somewhere here, just drag over them and select them. You can also just go to your face select and just select the face. So for now, let's just actually go to face select and select the face. Go into our front view again, with that face active. We're just going to go down to about here.
Oh, just
where our
G.
knees are. Bring them in a little bit closer.
Why is
Then
mine?
we're going to just rotate, so hit R to rotate in your front view. Flatten them out just a bit, and then E to extrude. Bring them down to about here. And then S to scale with that face still active, and then G, and just move it over to the side. So hit G and just move it over like that. So you can see now we have the legs coming down. Like that. Very, very simple, very basic so far. Flipping together
Let's just
here,
double
which
check.
is not what we want. So we're going to just hit Control Z.
So let's undo a load of this.
And we have to temporarily just come here under our modifiers to our mirror modifier and just untick clipping. So now if we
Right,
hit
we've
E
got-
to extrude and we extrude it out.
Got these
so hit
selected,
E to extrude, so we're extruding it out. And then just click somewhere here.
and we don't want
to
clipping.
stop that action.
You need to
You can see
extrude.
we've now extruded the legs. We can now enable clipping again, as we do still need the clipping. With this vert still selected or active, we can now go S to scale them. And if you accidentally did deselect them, all you have to do is just click somewhere here, just drag over them and select them. You can also just go to your face select and just select the face. So for now, let's just actually go to face select and select the face. Go into our front view again, with that face active. We're just going to go down to about here, which would be where our knees are. Bring them in a little bit closer. Then we're going to just rotate, so hit R to rotate in your front view. Flatten them out just a bit, and then E to extrude. Bring them down to about here. And then S to scale with that face still active, and then G, and just move it over to the side. So hit G and just move it over like that. So you can see now we have the legs coming down. Like that. Very, very simple, very basic so far.
Don't know what
But let's
portions
get
I'm meant to be
started
going
with
for,
the
but
so we're gonna
it's
go,
alright.
So holding in my middle mouse button to rotate. I'm going to select the top face here. And then what we're going to do is go back into our front view, and we're going to go R to rotate. And we're going to rotate that face just a little bit like this. Just to give a bit of a slant to the shoulder. And then we're going to do something that might be a little bit tricky if you're new to it, but we need to add in some extra geometry here. And the way we're going to do that, we're going to go over to our edge select here. So click on edge select. Then you're going to hover your cursor over this edge here. And if you hit Control R or Command R, you should see this yellow line appearing.
Oh, nice.
And if you roll your middle
Roll
mouse button,
R.
you can see these yellow lines increase. If you roll it down, they decrease. So
Okay.
that is what we call a cut. We're adding in an edge loop here, or a cut. So once you see the yellow line, just left click, and you can move the cursor, once you've left click, done your left click, to slide it. Once you've kind of let go of it, so if you click again, and that option is no longer there, you can just hit G twice.
Let's
with
go
that
back to
edge
our
still
solid.
active. So hit G twice, and that allows you to slide it along the edges. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to slide it right down to about here. And that gives us this square over here. So let's quickly go to our face select option. Click on this square, and then we're going to go into our front orthographic view. And we're just going to go S to scale. I'm going to scale that square down a bit. So just S to scale. And go back into your front view. Rotate it a little bit more. and then G to move it over to the side of it. So just hit G, and then you can go E to extrude, and then with that face still active, you're going to go R to rotate. And once again, I'm always going to my front orthographic view by hitting 1 on the numpad. So we're just going to rotate that face like that. Then we're going to click on this bottom face. Once again, back into our front view. R to rotate it a little bit like this. G to move it up. And now we're going to go E and we're going to extrude that face out. I'm going to bring it to about here. And then S to scale it. And then hit G and move it just to the side. You can kind of use a bit of creative license here, place it however you want, but I'm just going to put mine here. And then we go R to rotate. Then I'm going to go E to, we're going to go E
to
extrude that face out. I'm going to bring it to about here. And then S to scale it. And then hit G and move it just to the side. You can kind of use a bit of creative license here, place it however you want, but I'm just going to put mine here. And then we go R to rotate. Then I'm going to go E to extrude. And I'm going to go S, X, and just flatten that face. Just like that for now. And then I'm going to hover over this edge here with my cursor, and I'm going to go Control R. Once again, we see the yellow line. Just left click. You can move the cursor to move it, but I'm just going to leave it there by left clicking again. Go into your front view, and then with that active, you can just hit G and just move it out just a little bit, and then R to rotate that edge. So now we have the arms coming together. It's still very primitive at this point, but we are trying to make this as basic as possible for beginners to understand how modeling works. So let's hold in shift in that front view just so we can move around. Once again, just remember that.
The shoulders look so small.
And now we're just going to hit Z, and we're going to go into wireframe. And we're going to go to our vertex select option, and over here in the front you can just click anywhere and drag, and we can select vertices. So I'm just going to select these guys here, and I'm going to hit G, and I'm just going to move it up just to make the legs a
this
bit
way.
shorter. And this is where you can come in and you can correct the proportions however you want. So it's completely up to you how you want to do that. But for now I'm just going to leave it as is. And
Okay, let's just do a little bit of tidying up. Let's try and get proportions a little bit better. I think we want the shoulders to come out a little bit more. I want this to be a little bit more bulky. Then we want these two to come down a bit to give a bit of a more of a belly. Arm can come out a little bit. Hands can be a little bit longer. And then these legs, let's bring this in a little bit. And this in a little bit. That looks a bit better proportions than what I had before. Maybe have... Oh, just still moving that one. Let's undo that last move. Let's bring this down a little bit more. Got more of a body. And then the thighs can go a little bit lower. That feels like slightly better proportion. The arms are still a bit skinny though. Let's bring you out a little bit. And then both of you. Bring you down. Oh no, I didn't get both of them, did I? And then you can come in a little bit. And then the arm can go a little bit longer, maybe. I don't know. Where's your arm normally? Let me just stand up and see. Arm goes down to about the waist, just past the waist, and your hands about midway down the thigh. Where's the elbows? Elbows. Okay. So actually not too far off what we've got here. Oh no, don't just click. Always Okay. I think maybe as well we can go a little bit longer on the leg. That feels okay, I think. Right.
With these bottom verts actually selected here, what we're now going to do is we're going to scale them just a little bit more, and we're going to make the feet. So in your front view with those selected, we're going to go E to extrude them down to about here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hit Z, we're going to go into solid view, go to your face, and once again select the face over here.
Wait.
We're just
How
moving
do
over to the
I
side a bit.
move down again?
In fact,
This one.
hit 3 on your number pad to go to the right orthographic view. And if
Right.
that's face active, you're going to go E to extrude and then Y, and you're going to extrude it forward onto Y, like so.
And you went
your
back to
edge
solid,
select,
went to side view,
select this edge here and then go G,
to the
Z
face.
and bring it down. Go back to face select, select the face here. And then we're going to hit 7 or Control 7 or Command 7.
What did he do?
In fact, hit
So,
solid view.
put the foot
And
down,
with these bottom verts actually
extend it out.
here, what we're now going to do is we're going to scale them just a little bit more, and we're going to make the feet. So in your front view with those selected, we're going to go E to extrude them down to about here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hit Z, we're going to go into solid view, go to your face select, and once again select the face over here. We're just moving over to the side a bit. In fact, hit 3 on your number pad to go to the right orthographic view. And if that's face active, you're going to go E to extrude and then Y, and you're going to extrude it forward onto Y, like so. Go to your edge select, select this edge here and then go G, Z and bring it down. Go back to face select, select the face here, and then we're going to hit 7 or Control 7 or Command 7 to go into the bottom orthographic view. You can also just go to View, Viewport, and then go to bottom. And if that face is still active, we're going to go R to rotate it, and then S, X. I'm going to scale it a little bit on the X.
This one.
Maybe just rotate it a little bit like this by hitting R. Then go to your vertex select option, and holding and shift, just click on this vertex and this vertex so they're both active. Control 7 again to go into a bottom orthographic view.
Wait, so what's he doing? He's on vertex view, selecting this and this, I think. Oh, let me get down there.
And then G just to move them out like that. And then click on this one, hold and shift and select this one. Control 7 again to go to the bottom. And you can just move that however you need to. Just to kind of make the bottom of the foot. So just use however much creative license you need. But just something like that, basic should be fine. And then we can come over this corner here with our cursor, hit Control R, and you can see a yellow line appearing. Just left click and then move down to here. Left click again and then just S
I think
to scale that
foot
in,
goes more in
to
like that,
make
right?
a bit of an ankle. And that's how simple that is.
Wait, what did you do for the
And
ankle?
then we can come over this corner here with our cursor, hit Control R, and you can see a yellow line appearing. Just left click and then move down to here. Left click again and then just S to scale that in to kind of make a bit of an ankle. And that's how simple that is. Double tap A to deselect everything, Shift and Alt. So if you hold Shift and Alt in, you can actually click on an edge and that'll loop select the whole edge. So once again, just practice that. Shift, Alt, and then click on an edge, it'll loop select it. And you can go S to scale that as well, however you want. So I'm just going to scale that down just a little bit. You can also just hit G in your front view just to move it like that. So just position the knees where you feel you need to, but around here should be okay. So far, it's all coming together pretty well. So let's start working on the upper body here. So come to the upper body, select this vertex here, and then double tap G.
Okay, let's just go our side view. Oh, wait. Here, 3. No, shift 3. No. That's it. Control 3. Don't know what error we got there, but so we've got our weird foot here. So really, all of these should be on the same line. So I think it's just this one we need to shift up, which is just on the Z. let's get flat on that. Let's go Z wireframe. And then can I select all of these and make them, how do I make them all the same? No, we don't do this. I wonder if there's a way to like set them all the same on the Z axis. That's what I want. Yeah? No. Item, transform. -6. Already that. No. I wonder if there's a way to push them all onto the same X value. Sorry, Z value. Enable symmetry. No, you want that. There probably is. We might have to just do it manually for the moment. So if I'm on this view, do this, do G, do Z. See that? And then I think the front of the foot is a little bit up. So not this, G, Z, a little bit. We shouldn't be able to see. I think if they're all on the same point, we should be able to see the ones behind, right? Let's just select these ones that we can see that are below. And do G, Z, and move them up in line. That's a bit better. And then we can just move individual points, right? Let me bring this out a little bit. And then GX. Z, solid. That'll do. Looking more like a humanoid at least.
Generate, we can go over to what's called a mirror modifier. And the mirror modifier is essentially just going to take this geometry and take one side of it and mirror it exactly the same.
Oh wait, I must have been clicking around.
And you're going to extrude it.
Wait.
Well,
what about here,
that's
right?
how simple that is. Double tap A to deselect everything. Shift and Alt. So if you hold Shift and Alt in, you can actually click on an edge. And that'll loop select the whole edge. So once again, just practice that. Shift, Alt, and click on an edge. It'll loop select it. And you can go S to scale that as well, however you want. So I'm just going to scale that down just a little bit. You can also just hit G in your front view just to move it like that. So just position the knees where you feel you need to, but around here should be okay. So far, it's all coming together pretty well. So let's start working on the upper body here. So come to the upper body. Select this vertex here and then double tap G just to slide it back a bit. And then we're going to go to our face select option. We're going to select this face here. And now we're going to hit E to extrude. And once you've hit that, we're going to hit S right after it to scale in. So we're going to scale it in around here.
1 second.
So far,
Let's go back to our
it's all coming together pretty well.
solid view.
Let's start working on the upper body here. So come to the upper body. Select this vertex here and then double tap G just to slide it back a bit. And then we're going to go to our face select option. We're going to select this face here. And now we're going to hit E to extrude. And once you hit that, we're going to hit S right after it to to scale
I
in.
don't think
We're
that's
scale
what
it
we
into
want to do,
here.
is it?
And then we're going to go G, Y, and we're going to move it, or G, X, scale that down just a little bit.
Right, let's
You
just
can also
undo
use G in your front
what
view
we've been doing.
just to move it like that. So just position the knees where you feel you need to, but around here should be okay.
That looks okay.
far,
That's
It's all
how do you
coming together
redo
pretty
something?
well. So let's start working on the upper body here.
Shift Control Z.
The
It's
upper
not.
body,
Oh,
select
why?
this vertex here and then double tap G just to slide it back a bit. And then we're going to go to our face select option. We're going to select this face here. And now we're going to hit
I missed it
just
again.
position the knees where you feel you need to, but around here should be okay.
Do we want
So far,
an edge select
it's all
here?
coming together pretty
Double
well.
tap G.
So let's start working on the upper body here.
Yeah, I don't think he's doing
Go
that
to the
though.
upper body, select this vertex here and then double tap G. Just to
Oh, he's
slide it
selecting the
back.
vertex, right?
And then we're going to go to our face select option. We're going to select this face here. And now we're going to hit E to extrude. And once you've hit that, we're going to hit S right after it to scale in. So we're going to scale it into here. And then we're going to go G, Y, and we're going to
Right,
move
which
it,
way?
or G, X, and we're going to move it in like this. And then we're going to go G, Z, and just move it up
Right, I need to slow him down a
a
little.
little bit like that.
Oh no.
X, and we're going to hit S right after it to scale in. So we're going to scale it into here, and then we're going to go G, Y, and we're going to move it, or G, X, and we're going to move it in like this, and then we're going to go G, Z, and just move it up a little bit like that.
G,
And then to
Z.
flatten it, we're going to go S and then Z. So
Yes.
S and Z, and we're just going to flatten it on the Z just a little bit. We're then going to go E to extrude, move it up like this, and then G.
Oh, this is on neck.
X
Okay,
to
right.
move it in a bit.
Wait. So let's select this. We're gonna do G, Z, X. Yeah, bring it in. And then probably need to do G, Y. Let's go here. Let's move ourselves up because I think we're a bit too low here. That's actually not too bad. Can we bring this bit in? Do G, Z. No? Y? Yep. Oh, it's not mirrored, is it? Oh, we can do them individually, can't we? G, Y in a bit. This one. G, Y in a bit. This is a bit pointy. Okay. And then this one. G. That looks okay. And then we select this face and we're extruding upwards, yeah? So E. And we've got something like this, right? I think. I assume he's rotated it a little bit, but let's just cut back a little bit until...
Flatten it. We're going to go S and then Z. So S and Z, and we're just going to flatten it on the Z just a little bit. We're then going to go E to extrude, move it up like this, and then G, X to move it in a bit. And now what we can do with that face still active, we can hit Control plus or Command plus just to grow the selection once. Then we can go G, Y, and that'll allow us
Control. Let's not just reverse that. There we go. This is the problem. I've got shortcuts set up which are control and number pad stuff. So if we do any of those commands, it's also going to be affecting this. Okay. So one thing I'm noticing is this face here, which I think can we get to if we turn this off. Oh, it's not a face there. Of course there's not a face there. Okay, how are we going to do this properly? What we want to do is we're going to lift up these edges. If we did that, what was the way to select around? Control R? Yeah, that's what we want. No. Control E. Shift R. No. Cancel that. No, that adds a new one, doesn't it? Oh, we'll just manually select them. So we'll select those three. We'll do G, Z, and bring them up. That looks a little bit better. Really, this point here needs to go down. So Z, get the vertex, and go here, and we want to go down on here. And we probably want to come in a little bit as well. So G, X, no, Y. I think this one as well. So G, Y. Bring that in. And G, Z. It's kind of annoying that the axes here are different to the ones in Unity. The Unity has Y going up and X and Z going, X is horizontal, Z is depth. I wonder if, you must be able to edit that, right? Blender axes, Unity, different. Blender has Z up. Nice. Yeah. Okay, maybe we don't have to worry too much about it. Okay, where were we? We were looking here. We had this face selected, and then we did Control and Plus, which is gonna shift our unit in. I think that shifts our OBS screen, doesn't it? Position back. That's gonna be a bit annoying. Okay, so we got that selected, and I think we're matched with what he's doing at the moment. And we want to do the other side, this one. And let's continue playing.
Or right in the middle, just a little bit more back. Then you can go to your vertex select, and you can select these chest vertices here, and just move them to flatten them out a bit, just so the chest isn't as pointy at the front.
Already kind of done that.
So just like that, you can also select the verts at the back and just move them in. The ones on the shoulder here, you can also move it in. The arm itself should not be sitting too forward in the body. In fact, an easy way to solve this is just to go Shift Alt, click on an edge down here to loop selected, go Control Plus,
Shift
and
Alt.
grow the selection till the whole arm is
That's it. Okay.
So that should be enough.
Right. So we're gonna go down to the arm. Put the opposite side from him. So here. Shift Alt. Okay. How do I disable my transition shortcut? That's really annoying. Let me just put out my hotkeys for a second. What can I change that to? Control Shift. Control Shift Alt and plus. We'll do the transition now. Okay. Right now in Blender, I should be able to press Control plus and not. Yeah, there we go. This. Right?
And so just make sure it's only these here that are selected, the arm. Go to your thing here called proportional editing. So if you click on that, you can now go G, Y, and move it back. And if you roll your middle mouse button while you're doing that, you can control the fall off. So how
That's cool. Okay, right. He had these two extras selected as well. And he did this, and then did G. But if we do this, it's more of the models affected, whereas this is just like closer and closer to the arms. And you just scroll it in. Okay, what we want to do, oh no. What's one? No. Okay, let's undo that. What I want to do is get the side view. And then do G. We want that one as well, don't we? Let's select this and this. I think we want that as well with this. Yep. And that's the more natural position, isn't it? I think so. I feel like this needs to come down a bit. So if we do wireframe, do a front view, we'll select these, and we'll do G. More like that. Z, solid. No, no, yeah. Oh, we're still doing proportional, aren't we? On the X, no, on the on the Y. Got there eventually. Okay, that looks okay. That'll do.
how much goes along with it. So we're going to roll the middle mouse button till it's quite small, and we're only going to move the arm back on the Y, just a little bit like that. So once again, I just hit G, Y to move it along the Y. So just back a little bit. You can go into your right orthographic view by hitting 3, and you can actually see the arm doesn't need to be in the middle, just a little bit back, like that. And what we can also do is just select this vert down here and just bring that in a bit. It doesn't need to be so thick here at the front. So just using proportional editing here, you can select verts, you can move them around, and you can roll your middle mouse button to control the fall off. So this is a really powerful modeling tool here. I use it a lot in my own work. At the moment, the waist here is a little bit fixed. So if you come here to the edge here, you can go Control R, just click twice, disable proportional editing, and then just go G, Y, or GX, so GX, and just move it in a little bit like that. So we already have this little guy coming together quite well. So let's go over to our head. So we're going to go over to our face select this face here, and then we're going to go E to extrude. We're going to extrude it up to here, and then we're going to go E one more time to extrude it about this much. And then we're going to select this face, holding in shift, we're going to select this face as well. And then we're going to go E to extrude forward, and then S, and we're going to scale that, like so. We're then going to select this back face here, go into your right orthographic view, and then go G, and just move that back, and then select this top face here, and just G, and move it up face as well. And then we're going to go E to extrude forward, and then S, and we're going to scale that like so. We're then going to select this back face here, go into your right orthographic view, and then go G, and just move that back, and then select this top face here, and just G and move it up in your side view. You can also just hit G, Z, G, Z to move it up on the Z, but we're going to move it up to about here. And we're just making a really basic head. If you hit 1 to go into your front orthographic view, you can just rotate that face like so. And you can also just select these side faces here. In your front view, Z, G, Z to move it up on the Z, but we're going to move it up to about here. And we're just making a really basic head. If you hit 1 to go into your front orthographic view, you can just rotate that face like so.
Rotate what face?
To move it up on the Z, but we're going to move it up. And these side faces here. Hit 1 to go into your front orthographic view. You can just rotate that face
okay.
like so. And you can also just select these side faces here. In your front view, G just to move them over to the side. And at the moment the neck's a bit thick, so if we come in here over this corner, we can hit Control R, click twice, and then S to scale. And now we can just add a little bit of more definition to the neck. And we can also go Shift, Alt, and click on this edge here. And in our front view, we can go G to move it around. And this is an easy way to kind of define the neck a little bit. It really depends on the character you're making. It depends on the character twice, and then S to scale. And now we can just add a little bit of more definition to the neck. And we can also go Shift, Alt, and click on this edge here. And in our front view, we can go G to move it around. And this is an easy way to kind of define the neck a little bit. It really depends on the character you're making. You might want a bit of a thicker neck, but just something like this should be fine. So you can now kind of see we're getting this guy coming together quite well. In the front view as well, you can just select some of these points on the face, just kind of move them around. And by no means are we trying to make this look really accurate. This is very low poly. We're just going to select this face here, and we're going to go G, and just also move that down. So just creating a super basic head model here. Maybe just grab this edge here, hit G, and just move it in a bit. So now we have a very low poly character here. But what we can do to make this look even better, once again, we can go to our modifiers tab, and now on top of this modifier here, let's go down, click on it, go to the generate, let's add a subdivision surface modifier. What the subdivision surface modifier does essentially,
well,
just the poly
one
character
second.
Here. But what we can do to make
Right, let's play around with this a little bit more. Let's do this and bring that in a bit more to give more of a head shape. That's better. Now this is too pointy. So we want the vertex there. This one, and we want to bring that in a bit. Why does it look so weird? It's this vertex, isn't it? Let's go this edge. And let's bring that in. So that's a bit better. And then this one needs to go up a bit. That's a bit more of a face shape. I think also these ones here, they can all go up. If I move them down, still got that point at the back here. No, just this one. The GX. That's a bit better.
this look even better, once again we can go to our modifiers tab, and now on top of this modifier here, let's go down, click on it, go to the generate, and let's add a subdivision surface modifier. what the subdivision surface modifier does essentially,
Subdivision surface.
it just subdivides each face, and it's something that you can turn on and off. And you can also come here to the viewport level and increase that. The render here is simply just what it's going to be when it does a final render. What we're going to be focusing on here is actually just, at the moment, the viewport display, because that's what we're actually seeing. So I've clicked on that now, and I've bumped it up to 2, and now we can see it's a lot smoother. But we're still seeing this cage out here, the rough, the rough cage we originally modeled. If you want that to kind of hug against that modifier, you can come over here and click on this cage on, and it'll put that on it like so, and it looks a little bit nicer. So I'm going to click on that, and now we can just...
Why have we got this point here? Right, so we want to go down. And we want to go back a bit. No? Why? That's a bit better. And then this one as well. G, Y. There's more of a head shape, but I feel like it needs, it's a bit squat, isn't it? So what if we just do like all of these? And we shift these up. Kind of. Why? It definitely. The proportions are very weird here, aren't they? The head too small. I know it depends on the style, but I think actually. Wait, if we do wireframe, we're mirrored still, I think. Mess around a little bit with these. Kind of better. Open up that one. Not what I wanted to do. G. I think I prefer it when I haven't got this on. Yeah, it's definitely easier to see when we've got these points. It's this one. Let's bring that out on the Y a little bit. Okay, I think that'll do. Quickly use these controls. Let's bring that in a little bit. And let's bring the neck in a little bit more. And then can we bring this as the chin? That looks more like a head shape, doesn't it? Maybe... weird in terms of the polygons, but because it smooths it out the right way. Right, that'll do.
Do the exact same thing. You can go into your front view. You can just select edges. Some still have side to side. You simply
Oh
hold
no.
Shift, click the middle mouse. Depends on the character you're making. You add
see.
a reference image,
Yeah.
and kind of just define the shape of your model or your character
Just one here.
a little
This
bit
one.
more. And that's very, very fun and powerful.
Yeah, I
tool
think the
to
head
use.
can be a lot bigger, can't it?
And you can select different edges on the torso, bring them in a bit, just to find the mesh a little bit more, and stuff like that. You can come over here to your leg, Shift Alt, just click on this edge here, go to your right view, and just go G and just move the leg forward a bit to give it some dynamic. And you can also go hit Z, go into wireframe, go to vertex select, and then just click and select these bottom verts and go G, Y, and just move them back a bit, like so. Just create a little bit of a bend in the legs there. So here you can see, using some very basic and rudimentary modeling techniques, we've kind of made a figure. And once again, I'm keeping this super basic for absolute beginners. That's why it's a very basic looking model with no like big features. It's just getting the main proportions established. So what we can do now, if we want to make some very basic hands, is we can simply just go to
Ooh.
our face select and just select.
Thanks for the follow, Mr. Big.
And
How's it
with
going?
that active, we're going to hit G and just move it in a little bit. I'm in my front orthographic view. And hands, is we can simply just go to our face select. Some very basic and rudimentary modeling techniques. We've kind of made a figure. And once again, I'm keeping this super basic for absolute beginners. That's why it's a very basic looking model with no like big features.
Exactly
It's
what
just
we want.
Getting the main proportions established. So what we can do now, if we want to make some very basic hands, is we can simply just go to our face select, then just select this face down here. And with that active, we're going to hit G and just move it in a little bit. I'm in my front orthographic view. And then just E to extrude it a little bit more.
That's because I'm using this one, aren't I?
And then I'm going to come over here, over this edge here, and I'm going to go Control R, click twice,
Oh no.
and then double G just to slide it up a bit.
Wait. It's too fast.
With no like big features, it's just getting the main proportions established. So what we can do now, if we want to make some very basic hands, is we can simply just go to our face select, then just select this face down here. And with that active, we're going to hit G and just move it in a little bit. I'm in my front orthographic view. And then just E to extrude it a little bit more. And then I'm going to come over here, over this edge here, and I'm going to go Control R, click twice, and then double G just to slide it up a bit.
Over
Then I'm gonna
here,
go to my
Control
face
R.
select, and I'm going to select this face right here. Then I'm going to go to my right orthographic view, and I'm going to go R to rotate, and then G to move it forward. Click twice,
Yeah.
and then double G just to slide it up a bit. Then I'm going to go to my face select, and I'm going to select this face right here. Then I'm going to go to my right orthographic view, and I'm going to go R to rotate, and then G to move it forward a bit. Then I'm going to go E to extrude, like so, and then E to extrude.
It's just
Double G just to slide it up a bit.
right. So it's done
Then I'm
that.
going to go to my face select, and I'm going to select this face right here. Then I'm going to go to my right orthographic view, and I'm going to go R to rotate, and then G
Yeah.
to move it forward a bit. Then I'm going to go E to extrude, like so, and then E to extrude one more time. And then I'm going to disable proportional editing. And with that face active, I'm just going to go Control plus, and then I'm going to go S, X, and I'm just going to
Wait, not proportional editing.
and then E to extrude one more time. And then I'm going to disable proportional editing. And with that face active, I'm just going to go Control plus, and then I'm going to go S, X, and I'm just going to scale that down a bit. Just to make a very, very simple looking thumb. We can select this face here. We can go G, Y, and just move it back a bit.
Wait, let's undo that. I think we've done this incorrectly here. Let's go back to when he first started.
Using some very basic and rudimentary modeling techniques, we've kind of made a figure. And once
On the
again, I'm
hands.
keeping
Let's
this
go back
super basic for
all the way
absolute
to
beginners.
here.
That's why it's a very basic looking model with no
Nope.
like big features. It's just getting the main proportions established. So what we can do now, if we want to make some very basic hands, is we can simply just go to our face select, then just select this face down here. And with that active, we're going to hit G and just move it in a little bit. I'm in my front orthographic view. And then just E to extrude it a little bit more. And then I'm going to come over here, over this edge here, and I'm going to go Control R, click twice.
Why is it doing it along that axis though?
Great. So what we can do a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more down here. And with that active, we're going to hit G and just move it in a little bit. I'm in my front orthographic view. And then just E to extrude it a little bit more. And then I'm going to come over here, over this edge here, and I'm going to go Control R, click twice, and then double G.
So look, why are we extending across this
I'm gonna go to my
axis?
face select,
What?
and I'm going to
Oh,
select
no.
this face right here. Then I'm going to go to my right orthographic view, and I'm going to go R to rotate, and then G to move it forward a bit. Then I'm
God, we're
edge
gonna
here, and I'm gonna go
have to watch this
Control
like
R.
6 times.
And then I'm going to come over here, over this edge here, and I'm going to go Control R, click twice, and then double G just to slide it up a bit. Then I'm going to go to my face select, and I'm going to select this face right here. Then I'm going to go to my right orthographic view, and I'm going to go R to rotate, and then G to move it forward a bit. Then I'm going to go E to extrude, like so, and then E to extrude one more time. And then I'm going to disable proportional editing. And with that face active, I'm just going to go Control plus, and then I'm going to go S, X, and I'm just going to scale that down a bit. Just to make a very, very simple looking thumb.
We take this off. I'm not sure that's entirely what we want to do. Let's go back a bit here. Let's do G to bring it forward. I think what we want is this. The Control Shift? No. I want the edge here. There we go. We want to move this up more. Maybe move this one down. So this. Don't want this. G. Move down. Right, and then this face, we're gonna rotate forward. And then extrude. No, why is it doing it locked on an axis? I don't want it on an axis. No idea what this looks like. When he does it,
E to move it forward a bit. Then I'm going to go E to extrude, like so.
oh, it is on an axis,
and
yeah.
then E to extrude one more time.
Let's try that. So E on, why is it on this axis though? That's more. No. I don't understand what this axis is that it's trying to lock me into.
And then I'm going to disable proportional editing. And with that face active, I'm just going to go Control plus, and then I'm going to go S, X, and I'm just going to scale that down a bit. Just to make a very, very simple looking thumb. we can select this face here. We can go G, Y, and just move it back a bit. And then you can come over this edge, Control R, click twice, double G to slide down to here, and then S just to scale it. Like that, just to create a basic wrist. So this is a very, very simple character. You can just select edges anytime you want.
Right, let's watch this
Click
again.
twice,
Because there's something I'm doing wrong
and then
here.
double G just to slide it up a bit. Then I'm going to go to my face select, and I'm going to select this face right here. Then I'm going to go to my right orthographic view, and I'm going to go R to rotate, and then G to move it forward a bit. Then I'm going to go E to extrude, like so, and then E to extrude one more time. And then I'm going to disable proportional editing, move that face.
They've got this
active,
weird
go
angle
Control
because it was.
plus, and then I'm going to go S, X.
Right,
and I'm going to
let's
scale
go
it down
back
a bit,
all
just
of
to
it,
make a very, very simple looking font.
and let's see if we can repeat what he did. So let's go back until we've just got normal before we extended our hands. Oh, is there a limit to how far you can go back? No. Maybe there is. Okay. Well, we'll work with this then. Let's do Z wireframe. Select all of these. We'll do an extra lot there. We're gonna shift this all like up here. Yeah, what's the... And then we'll straighten them up a little bit. That might be better. Let's move them forward a little bit. Maybe that... no, on the Y-axis. The arms are coming forward slightly. Right, then we select this here, we do the ring select, yeah, and then shift up, make the hand a bit longer but the wrist a bit shorter. No, not that. G, Z. Oh, that just means the whole thing, okay. So then if we do that one, G, Z. I want to shrink this. What if we do S, Z? Not really what we wanted. What if we just like made that out a bit? Right, let's see. It's looking a bit more like a hand. Let's see if we can just do it ourselves. So we wanted to rotate this that way a bit. Oh. Why am I getting control here? Oh, we go out, it's easier to adjust smaller amounts, that's fine. And then we wanted to extrude it, but why is it along this line? That's what I don't get. Let's get back into our solid view, right. So when we're extruding, is that the direction of the face? It's not, isn't it? It might be the direction the face is. I suppose there's a bit of a weird angle, isn't there? That's could be why. Well, we don't have this. Ah, okay, this is what's happening. Right. This is why it looks so weird. That's the angle of that face. God, what's happened there? I think these ones, this face here, it's gone and tucked in. Right, okay. So let's select this and right, can I do this whole face and move it the right way up? Here we go. It's better not. I think it's better not to have that mark on. So now if I extrude this face, it should be. That's so much better. And then again, and we can rotate. At least that looks like a thumb a bit more now. Right. Now that we know what we were doing wrong, let's rotate this around a bit more. And then we can extrude. And then we can rotate. And then we can extrude. And then we can rotate. And scale. Right, that's much more of a thumb. Can we just scale this a little bit? What's happened here? Something's happened there as well, hasn't there? Because our wrist here. Right, can I get it here? This one, yeah. Right, select. No, select all of you. No. Maybe I've got to click on them individually. No, not that one. This one. How do I get this one? No. Is it here? There we go. Right. Let's do that for the moment. And we'll move it again. Right, and we'll select this edge. I don't know what I had done with that face. It just completely ruined it, didn't I? Right, and then if we could bring this one out. It's a bit more of a handshake. Right. Oh, no, not that. E. Push it up a little bit and in a little bit. There we go. Right, let's do a face here. Let's shrink this. And really, this edge here, we're going to shrink that in a little bit. And then we can take this face. We can move it longer. That's more of a hand. Right, okay. Good. Yeah, I think I want to work with this this thing off because that was confusing me so much because I couldn't see where the actual mesh was.
We can select this face here, we can go G, Y, and just move it back a bit. And then you can come over this edge, Control R, click twice, double G to slide down to here, and then S just to scale it. Like that, just to create a basic wrist. So this is a very, very simple character.
So, somewhere here, Control R. Oh.
Front orthographic.
Oh no.
And over here you can see we have the cube mirrored on the X. You can also change these, by the way. So you can change them like this. We can go G to move it around. And this is an easy way to kind of define the neck.
Let's go.
So what we can do now, if we want to make some very basic hands, is we're doing some with my edge select here, I'm moving around, clicking on edges, and I'm hitting G to move them. Let's hit 1 to go back into our front orthographic view. And here you can see you can just select edges anytime you want. G to move them.
Right, make sure blend is selected and then Control R. There we go. And then bring it down here, and we'll scale it in. Kind of.
So I might want to select a bit. Then I'm going to go to my face select, and I'm going to select this face right here. Then I'm going to go to my right graphic view, and I'm going to go R to rotate, and then G to move forward a bit. Then I'm going to go E to extrude, like so, and then E to extrude one more time. And then I'm going to disable proportional editing. And with that face active, I'm just going to go Control plus, and then I'm going to go S, X, and I'm just going to scale that down a bit. Just to make a very, very simple looking thumb. We can select this face here, we can go G, Y, and just move back a bit. And then you can come over this edge, Control R, click twice, double G to slide down here, and then S just to scale it. Like that, just create a basic wrist. So this is a very, very simple character. You can just select edges anytime you want, G to move them. So I might want to select this edge here, G to move that. Very, very simple. All I'm doing is with my edge select here, I'm moving around, clicking on edges, and I'm hitting G to move them. Let's hit 1 to go back into our front graphic view. And here you can see we have the basic character done. So I'm just going to go back to object mode. Over here, so go into object mode. You can also hit the tab key as a shortcut to do that. And at the moment, it's not looking very smooth. So with this cube still active, we're going to go to object mode up here. And we're going to go shade smooth. Now we have nice smooth shading on here. And if you want this guy, for example, in object mode, if I were to hit R to rotate him, you can see he's actually rotating around this point here, which is what we call an origin point. But what we wanted that origin point to be is at the bottom of the feet. Quick way to do that is just tap into edit mode. Hit A to select everything, and then go G, Z, and just move it up till his feet, or where that little orange dot is, or where the
Right. Let's just double check.
like just create a basic wrist. So this is a very, very simple character. You can just select edges anytime you want. G to move them. So I might want to select this edge here, G to move that. Very, very simple. All I'm doing is with my edge select here, I'm moving around, just clicking on edges, and I'm hitting G to move them. Let's hit 1 to go back into our front of the graphic view. And here you can see we have the basic character done. So I'm just going to go back into object mode over here. So go into object mode. You can also hit the tab key as a shortcut to do that. And
Okay.
at the moment, it's not looking very smooth. So with this cube still active, we're going to go to object mode up here. And we're going to go shade smooth. So now we have nice smooth shading on here. And if you want this guy, for example, in object mode, if I were to hit R to rotate him, you can see he's actually rotating around this point here, which is what we call an origin point. But what we wanted that origin point to be is at the bottom of the feet. Quick way to do that is just to tab into edit mode. Hit A to select everything, and then go G, Z, and just move it up till his feet, or where that little orange dot is, or where the floor is. So he should be sitting right on the floor. Then we're going to go back into object mode. And now if we hit R, you can see he rotates around that origin point. So here now in our scene, we have this character here that's really low poly. So that means there's very few points you actually have to edit when you go into edit mode. But he also has a subdivision surface modifier which makes him look nice and smooth. So once you've learned these basic extrusion techniques, and also just how to select verts, how to select edges, and how to select faces, and also how to scale them, rotate them, and extrude them, right? Once you've learned that, you can pretty much make anything in a 3D space, and you can also use your subdivision surface modifier. You can at any time come over one of these edges here, hit Control R, click twice, double G to slide, and add in more geometry. And that's how simple this is. I hope you guys enjoyed this absolute beginner's tutorial on modeling in Blender. I know it's a little bit lengthy, but it is for absolute beginners. So this is probably, if you're really new to this, this might be one of your first creations in Blender, and I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm just going to go back into object mode here.
Okay, it's pretty cool.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll quickly show you guys one I made earlier when I was practicing this. You can see this one, exact same thing. I just spent a little bit more time on it, defined the proportions a little bit more, but it's pretty much the exact same technique, and I kept it really simple for beginners. So I will see you guys next time for another tutorial, and if you want to see...
Cool. Right, that's probably a good pause point. First tutorial done. Obviously, it's not great, but it's okay. It's a good starting point, and there's a better understanding of how all the bits work. Like, the head's got some weirdness going on there. This is something I've got to get used to. I've got to press shift before I middle click to move around, because otherwise it's just doing the rotate. But you can't start rotating and then press shift to change it. You have to like let go. So why is this looking so weird? probably this point up here, isn't it? Not sure what it wants to do there. That's a bit better. Okay, yeah, what we can do, we can do a short break here. What should we do? Let's do something like 15 minutes. Just as a little screen break time. That, screen break, back soon. Transition. Alright, see you all in about 15 minutes. Right. Hello, hello again. Oh, Spotify finish. Let's pop on some lo-fi instead then. I can bump that a little bit higher. Right. We were looking at. So we've got our model here. Very basic, but it's not bad. So I think the next thing to look at was going to be the Mixamo plugin. So if I get the add-on, and then put this in here. And then I think it's going to be similar file, no, edit, preferences, add-ons, install, Mixamo, install add-on. Right, and then we'll enable it. I think this was just showing me how to install it.
Hello. So in this quick tutorial, I'm going to show you how to install the Mixamo Auto Control Rig. It's pretty simple. It's just like installing any other add-on or plugin, as we used to call them. So what you want to do after you download it is you want to come up to Edit and you want to go to Preferences. When you hit Preferences, this little dialog box is going to come up. Make sure you're an add-on. That's always good. And then you want to hit Install. And once you hit Install, you want to go find where you downloaded the plugin. Or a good practice is to save this somewhere else besides your downloads, because people clean out their downloads. Yeah, so save this into like a Blender add-on folder or plugins folder, whatever you want to call it. Then you're going to hit Install add-on. I'm going to hit cancel because I already have it installed, but everything's the same. You're going to hit this button, I'm going to hit this one. So what that did now you actually have that add-on. Now the last step here is to make sure you have this box checked to tell Blender to use that plugin. So come up here, here's a little shortcut, come to the magnifying glass, start typing Mixamo, or Mix, and it'll pop up. So you see animation, Mixamo control rig. Just check that box there, that'll tell Blender to use this plugin. And you're ready to go. So close this. A good way to test if that is loaded, you want to come here to this little arrow, open it up, and if you scroll down here, you see Mixamo. This is the control rig. It is now installed, and you are ready to rock and roll. I'll go over how to use this in the next tutorial. Hope that's helpful. Okay, for the second tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use the Mixamo Auto Control Rig. But the first thing we need to do is make sure this character is rigged. Currently, he's not. There's no joints in there. There's nothing to drive the actual mesh into the form. So we need to make sure that we have some joints underneath here. Now, an easy way to do that is to use Mixamo. So we're going to go through Mixamo. We're going to use the Auto Rigger, and it's going to create a rig for this character. And then we can bring him back into Blender and add some animation to him. It doesn't matter where you get your character. You can model it yourself. You could have bought it off the internet. You could have found it in the couch or whatever. As long as you have the model, you can either have it in A pose or T pose. And what you want to do is you want to export it out as a FBX file. Oops. Export. Let's go FBX. And wherever we want to work, I have a little demo here. I'm going to call this. I'll just say robot from Blender. Let's actually call it robot to Mixamo, just so I remember. And you can leave all this as it's fine. So I'm going to export out the FBX, and that's exported out. And now I'm going to go to Blender, or now I'm going to go to Mixamo. So here we are in Mixamo. Mixamo is a great site for characters and for animations and so forth. And I'm going to upload.
Right, and then we go Mixamo. Upload character. Please sign in to upload. Let's just hide this screen a second for my sign in. Where's the sign in option? Login. Right, and then we take our simple model and we pop that in there. Right, actually, this can go in here now. And we put this screen, not this screen, Mixamo in Blender, this one, back onto our research window. No, we want that to be this window. Mixamo in Blender. That one, there we go.
Load my character. So I actually want to say upload character. When you click on this, it's going to ask for that file, and let me go grab that file. Okay, so then we're going to drag that file, the robot, to Mixamo into here, and it's going to upload this. And this may take a little bit of time as it uploads to internet connection. Up in there she is. Now, something to note right now, Mixamo is not displaying a PBR material. If you just have a standard diffuse material, it will show up. However, remember now, when we download this, it will be there. Your material will be there. So just kind of ignore this part for now. We will fix this. So hit next. And this is the auto render. This is super powerful, makes things really fast. You just need to drag these over to where you think the chin is, where we want the wrists. They're here, the elbows. Let's put them right there, the knees, and so forth. So it's pretty straightforward. You can actually rig this yourself if you want to, but this is fast and easy. So then we're gonna hit next. And it's doing all the crunching all the numbers and the algorithms and doing its magic behind the scenes as you get to watch this character spin. And when we get it back, it'll
I know it's going to be,
rig. So let's give it a second here.
there's going to be a lot to improve on,
Take
but
up 2 minutes.
I think it's just worth seeing the process now. And then
Now, something to note, as
next time we can go and do.
you can download
oh,
the character in like a T
something went wrong.
keyframe from scratch. That works. Or you can actually select some Mixamo animation to put on your character that you.
Wait, let's pause it. It might be that we have to move the character into more of a T pose. Let's see if we can do that first. So, what do we want to do? We want to select like this. Wait, select all the hand. Let's do wireframe. I'm going to select hand here and then Control plus all the way up the arm. Not quite that far. I'm going to unselect those two. I've got a face selected there. Is that? Okay, I think that's better. I think we want this on. And can we rotate it? No, not like that. No. How would we go about? Maybe if we just select this bit and do G, kind of. No. Undo that. Okay, I don't think we want this one. Do that, do that. Okay, we'll mess it up a little bit. I'll put that there, rotate it, put that there, rotate it again. It's probably an easier way to do this as a T-pose, but we'll mess it up and then we'll fix it. Actually, I think if we just do Control Plus. We'll just keep doing this. Oh. Rotate and move. Rotate and move. Rotate, rotate, and move. Okay, that's less messed up than when we just did the wrists. They have moved way back, but no, didn't want to do that. And then we'll just keep moving like this, and then can we rotate this? Kind of. Okay, right, that's more of a T-pose. There's obviously some very scuffed bits here, but we can fix those, I hope. Slightly better. We've got. I think it's easier if we can't see this thing, isn't it? Yeah. Because look, we can see that that is very scuffed. Bring you back in. You out a bit. Not sure we even need that. And as I said before, it's going to be very rough here. We want to raise you on the Z axis. Some slight tweaking here. Y back a bit. And then the hand will rotate a little bit more again. No, just want the hand. And we can move it. Wait, we've selected another point down at the bottom there, haven't we? You can see that foot bit moving around too. Okay, that's more of a T pose. And maybe let's just grab this and rotate it a little bit there. Right, that should be okay. Let's see what he looks like. That's not too bad actually. That'll do. Right, let's export this again. We can overwrite. That's fine. I think that overwrote, didn't it? 16, 24. Yep, that's good. Right, and then we're gonna go back to here. We're gonna cancel this upload. Let's upload a new character. Oh no, don't want to drag all of Blender in. I want to drag this guy. I'm wondering if it's because I don't have fingers in the model and it's asking for fingers. Right, so try looking in again. I think it might be stuck. Yeah, let's cancel this. Let's refresh this page. What's happened here? No. Is the site down? So a quick check. I think it's something at my end, I'd assume. It isn't loading on my mobile. Right, let's go. Let's log out. Let's hit this window somewhere else. It doesn't show on screen. Right, log in. I think I've broken something. What is broken here? I don't know what I've done. I hope I haven't broken my access to Mixamo. Oh, I can't even highlight that. open in incognito and see if that runs. That isn't working either. What? Okay. Nope. Right, I'm going to do another quick pause while I figure out what's going wrong here. Back in a sec. Probably, it won't be 15 minutes, but I won't bother to change the timer. Alright, so it looks like Mixamo might be down. Or at least having issues. Looks like it's sometimes working. What's this one saying? This is saying it's okay. It's still down? Does it say it's down? I don't think this is my end. Yeah, 28 checks today. It's been down 28 times. Not just me. Okay. Well. I suppose you can still watch the tutorial though. Let's pop this over here. Let's pop this into here somewhere. What's this for? Screencast keys, we don't need that anymore. That's fine. And we'll pop this in here.
Use
And we'll just see what it's meant to do.
Your final outcome is whether it's augmented reality, use an arrow, if you want to stage a pose or something in Stager, whatever it is, you can get a pose or an animation. So here we go. This is just a quick test here, right? We want to make sure that it's deforming correctly. It looks good. Everything's deforming. His fingers are moving. Awesome. And his feet are on the ground. So we're gonna hit next. And now, yes, this is okay. We're gonna proceed. It's just naming. We won't see the character more. So here is the character inside Mixamo. Now I can hit download now, and it'll save it in the T pose, or I can add an animation. Let's add animation because that's pretty cool. And he's a robot. So let's see what we have in here. We have a robot. So we got some funny, cool dances. Let's see what he's got. Hip hop dancing. Robots hip hop dancing. Classic. All right, so let's use this. So now I'm just gonna hit download. I can send it right to Arrow if I want to and save the augmented reality, which is pretty awesome. But we're gonna do the Blender download. So let's hit download. And I'm gonna make sure I have the skin. And I'm gonna say download. So now it's downloading, and we can bring this back into Blender. So it's downloading down here. All sorts of stuff showing down here. Great. It's downloading. And there it goes. It's downloaded. So now let's jump back into Blender. Okay, so I'm going to create a new scene just because this was as an example. So let's just create a new scene and then don't save. I'm going to import. Let's delete this thing. I'm going to import that FBX. Import FBX because it downloads it as an FBX. I'm just going to do this over here so you don't see my whole entire file structure. But believe me, I'm going to the downloads. I'm going to go to downloads because that's where I downloaded it, and it's called Hip Hop Dancer. So I'm going to hit. Here we go. Hip Hop Dancer. This is what I downloaded. Hit import, and it's coming in. So there we go. There it is from Mixamo. We can come in tight here. See, material exactly. And if I hit play, see all the keys down here? It's brought in the animation. He's dancing, he's doing his thing, he's rocking and rolling. So that is how you bring it in from Mixamo. Now the next step is actually adding the Mixamo auto control rig, and we'll do that in the next tutorial. This is a big chunk, and I want to keep things at 5 minutes.
Right, and then we'll have a look at this one because it looks like it's still down.
Back. We have our animation on our character. It's looking good. He's moving and grooving. Now we want to bring this animation over to a control rig, and that's what we started off doing in the first place, right? We are here so we can see how the Mixamo auto control rig works inside Blender. Awesome. So we have the animation. Let's make the control rig. First thing first, you want to hit this button here and open up this dialog box. Drop on down to Mixamo right here, and then you're just gonna push this button, and magic's gonna happen. Once you hit the button, let me step back. Make sure you have your character selected, the armature selected. I did have that selected already. That's the first step. You can have multiple characters in here, so make sure you select the right one. It'll also say it right here too. I should have made it a little one or something. Anyways, once you click that, you have this selection you make now. I prefer my characters without IK arms. FK arms move in a more natural way. I do prefer IK legs because they're touching the ground. So those are my settings. I'm going to hit OK, and it's going to do its thing. It's going to create a control rig like that. Then now we have a control rig with keys, and you're basically now ready to rock and roll inside Blender. You can do whatever you want. You can add, if you have an add-on layers, you can do layers. You can come down here and you can create non-linear animation, whatever you want to do. It's up to you now because we gave you the rig. You can do whatever you want. Pretty cool stuff. Some things to highlight. If you hit zero out rig, it'll actually zero out the variable animations. Keyframe all over the scratch. We can actually apply animations from another character to this control rig, which I'll show you in a second. You can bake animations, so when you make adjustments and stuff, you hit bake and it'll bake it onto the control rig. This will actually export out a GLTF, so you can bring this into like Arrow and see your dancing animation in augmented reality, which is super awesome. Highly recommend to you to do that. And if you do that, please tag us at hashtag Adobe Hero. You can also switch between IK and FK on a frame or across the whole animation. This is powerful stuff when you're keyframing and you need to go between IK and FK. So that's control rig. You're ready to do your stuff. Let me show you one other thing, right? I'm going to bring in an animation, and I'm going to use that animation to drive this control rig. So first I'm going to zero this control rig out, and this is going to bring us back to our A pose here, right? There's no keys on here anymore. Now I'm going to pull in another animation that I downloaded from Mixamo. One thing to note is that it does need to be on the same rig. So I just downloaded another animation from step 2. So I'm going to import in this FBX, and the character's going to come in, and there's the robot. I'm going to grab that character, I'm going to slide it on over so we can see the animation, and there's a little wave. This character has no animation on it, but I am going to grab the keys from here and bake them onto the control rig, and then I can erase that character. So how do I do that? Well, I'm going to grab this little dropper, I'm going to select on it, and I'm going to grab Armature 2. That's this character. Now one thing to note, there's no control rig on this character. That's important right now. Since we're in beta, we're still fixing some things, but we found if there's a control rig on here and you try to bring this animation over to this control rig, there's some funkiness. So make sure there's no control rig on that character when you're bringing over animation. And then I'm just going to hit this button here, apply animation to control rig, and it's going to bring that motion and put it onto the control rig. And voila, we have that animation on our control rig. Pretty amazing stuff. Now you can get rid of this character. You can get rid of the character, delete it, and then you can come back in here and you can do whatever you need to do again inside Blender. Do your stuff. Again, if you post it or do anything awesome, create anything awesome, please tag us.
That's pretty cool.
You know, if you share it out, tag Mixamo or Adobe or
Right, how are you looking? Are we back up yet?
That would be great. I hope that was helpful. Again, we're in beta, so if you find or discover anything, please let us know. We'll be happy to make those changes. And yeah, super excited to see what everybody creates using this control rig. Thank you.
Well, it looks pretty cool, but unfortunately we're not able to do anything now, are we? A little look. Looks like it's still down. Oh. Maybe. Okay, that's not on. Okay, log in. Okay, maybe. Hope it wasn't our character that crashed it. I can't imagine how, but we're gonna try again. I'm gonna go to our, no, it's not UI, it's on desktop, and simple model. Okay, the next. What's our no? Let's do this. No fingers. That might be something that we did wrong last time. The wrists are like there. Don't have to be too precise. Elbows will be somewhere here. Knees, basically there. Groin is there. Okay. Hopefully we won't crash it this time. I hope it wasn't us, but who knows? There's got to be an issue if that was us, though. Oh. Nice. That looks kind of natural. We go to next. And then let's see the capoeira. Wow, how is it that easy? I mean, obviously the model's pretty crap still, but that's not bad. Wow. Okay. Wait. Let's put this in our other thing here, and then we can put this off to the side. Actually, no. We want this off to the side. Maybe it will show you that. No, that's still on that screen. So we need to set this to the other window. No, another one. That one. Yeah, there we go. Right. So let's rewatch this one.
Okay, for the second tutorial, Mixamo is a great site. We're gonna hit next.
So we did this. We did this.
What we have in here is we hit robot. Well, file structure, but believe me, I'm going to the downloads.
Don't know why it's being so slow. Yeah, I'm just gonna finish off what I was eating. Right, sorry about that. Sure you didn't want to hear eating sounds on the stream. Right. So the idea will be to, I think we just download it, don't we? Let's see what did he say?
Robots Hip Hop Dancing, classic. All right, so let's use this. So now I'm just gonna hit download. I could send it right to Aero if I want to and save the augmented reality, which is pretty awesome. But we're gonna do the Blender download. So let's hit download. I'm gonna make sure I have the skin. I'm gonna say download. So now it's downloading, and we can bring this back into Blender. So let's download it down here. It's downloading, and there it goes. So now let's jump back into Blender. Okay, so I'm gonna create a new scene. So this is as an example. So let's just create a new scene. I'm gonna import this. I'm gonna import that FBX. Import.
Right, so download.
Because it downloads it as FBX.
Do we need it with skin? He said with skin, didn't he?
File structure.
FBX, download.
I'm going to download. I'm going to do the downloads. That's what downloaded it, and it's called Hip Hop Dancer. So there we go. Hip Hop Dancer. That's what downloaded. Hit import, and it's coming in. So there we
We'll
go.
put this across over here.
There it is from Mixamo.
I think that's still on show, yeah.
See, material exactly. And if I hit play, see all the keys down here? We're actually, it's brought in the animation.
And then if we shift him, oh no,
he's rocking and rolling. So that is how you bring it
A,
from
G,
Mixamo. Now the
X.
next step is actually
Oh, no.
adding the Mixamo.
How do I
auto control
move
rig.
him?
We'll do that in the next tutorial.
Object mode. Move. There we go. On the X. And then we drag and let's just drag and drop it. See what happens. No, can't do that. File, import, FBX. Downloads. No. Right. It is there though, isn't it? Documents, downloads. Let me just pop this into right, that one. There we go. All right. And then the next thing to check is we go into Unity. Let's minimize Blender for the moment. Let's get our Endless Runner and see if we can drop him into our game. I think if that works, that's where I'm going to be wrapping up today, which was all the bits that we wanted to get to. Obviously, there's a ton more to do in terms of actually making like a decent model and all that kind of stuff, but we just drop it in. I can't remember how we did it. I think we just dropped it in, which I'll put this off to the side. Let's go downloads, hip hop robot into here, and then oh, I've got the scale wrong, I think. Where's our player? Oh no, maybe not. Let's set into reset position. Yeah, no. How tall is he? He's pretty tall. Oh wait, we don't want the cube. No. Why is it? Because it's got this. We don't want the camera. Okay. Because this is the whole part of the scene, isn't it? We've got two cameras now. Let's delete that. Let's delete that. Yeah. And then in Blender, we want to select this, just the armature. And I think if we turn all of these off, maybe we have to delete them all. File, export, FBX. And then this is robot dance. Oh, robot dance, simple model. And we don't want. We just want the armature, right? Armatures and mesh, maybe. I don't know what we want, but we don't want the camera or the lamp. Export. Right, and then in Unity, we take our... Ooh, where does that export to? Export. Where does it export to? Blender. Okay, perfect. In Unity, we go to our Blender folder on the desktop. Robot Dance Simple Model. Right, you're coming in here. Ah, it's got both of them. I mean, we can... At least it doesn't have the... Oh, it has the cube. Oh, the cube is our model. Right, okay. I mean, if they're not rigged up, they're not going to move, are they? Let's see what happens if we click play. Does this run through its animation? Oh, we don't want a full screen. I want to be able to see this other scene view. I think we had to apply all of our bits to it again. So we do add component. How should we do this? Player. On the player, we have this, and on this we have an animator. That was it. Yeah. Okay. So on here we add an animator, and then our controller. We need a new controller. The avatar we don't need. And in our controllers, let's do a new animated controller. Dance example. Let's just do dance model. And we're going to open this up. We're going to drag in from here just this one. Maybe. And we put this controller on here. Haha, yeah. That's great. Oh, it doesn't loop, but that's all in the animated controller. Right, okay. We're gonna cut this all out. We don't actually want this there. And obviously the scale we need to sort out. But I think next time what we'll do is we'll redo the whole of that tutorial, but we'll be customizing it way more and figuring out what we can do in terms of portions and joints and all that kind of stuff. And we'll set up so that they've got fingers so that we can rig that model better. But yeah, quite happy with that all just working. Like, kind of expecting things to go slightly wrong, but hey, seems to have worked. So yeah, gonna wrap up there. Thanks everyone for lurking, some follows. Hope it's been enjoyable, and I hope to see you next time. I think the next what streams have I got planned? I think the next stream planned is Sunday DVD, but I'll probably be doing. I might do some more of this tomorrow. See, what day are we? Oh, we're Thursday, aren't we? Yeah, I'll probably do some more of this tomorrow. A bit later, but I'll try and set the Twitch schedule to say what time I'm going to be playing, or coding, I suppose. But yeah, thanks everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Cheers, bye.